Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are watching a Crypto Hamster channel, and today we'll talk about the Bitcoin and other general things related to cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies. So let's start. What is actually a blockchain? Well, you can think about a blockchain as the kind of digital technology which allow you to organize the data in a certain manner, in a special way, which uh, actually is a sharing of all the data between the participants of the network of the blockchain, and each and every participant of the blockchain has the whole data set. It means that in order to change part of the blockchain, which are obviously called blocks, you need to make everyone in the blockchain agree to that. And this allow you to first make this system decentralized so nobody owns it. And second, it's relatively safe because everybody who has this blockchain, who share this blockchain, should agree that the certain act within the blockchain is legit. So legit. So first safety, then also efficiency, because efficiency of the current systems like financial system has certain flaws, and in principle we can fix these flaws by using blockchain technology. It can be private, so all the transactions, all the data transactions can be private within the blockchain. It's independent because you don't have any person or organization who owns the blockchain. Basically, all the, let's say, transaction of the data happens in a peer-to-peer manner, and everyone of participants of the blockchain owns the whole blockchain data set, basically. Then it is trustless. Well, what is meant by that is that you don't need to trust a third party, you don't need to trust no one except the code. So if you believe the code, then basically it's okay to use this blockchain as in a way that um, it is trustless. So you don't need to worry about trust, so to speak, right? So the possible applications, of course, is finances. So you can transfer your money within the blockchain, and different kind of databases like social networking also, etc. What is cryptocurrency? Okay, cryptocurrency, you can think about it as digital money, and it can be used in many ways, the same as the regular money, also called fiat money. So, but also the cryptocurrency is meant to be the means for maintenance of the blockchain. Uh, how basically the blockchain is maintained. So, in order to make new blocks of the blockchain, new data sets within the blockchain, uh, you need to solve some complicated mathematical tasks. And in order to do this, you need to apply your computing power. And to stimulate you to do this, you will receive the cryptocurrencies coins as rewards. And also, I forgot to mention that all the blocks within the blockchain basically immutable, because in order to change them, you need to change all the blocks above the certain blocks you want to change. So the cryptocurrency coins used for the as rewards for creation of the new blocks in the blockchain, also for rewards as for transaction within the blockchain. They can be used as securities and utilities, as recently is quite a hot topic, hot debate around that. And of course, like peer-to-peer cash system, you can change, transfer your money. And very important thing about the cryptocurrencies is that it has a limited supply. What it means that, for example, Bitcoin has maximum 21 million of coins. It means that there will not be more than this number of coins at all in Bitcoin. As opposed to fiat money, when you may make as many coins as you want as soon as you need it, right? So Basically, it means that there's no inflation for a certain limit of the emission for the cryptocurrencies. And of course, you need to understand that there is no physical coins per se; that they're just data within the blockchain in the electronic assets, right? What other cryptocurrencies are there? So Bitcoin, of course, Ether, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, many others like 1500s of the different cryptocurrencies right now. What is mining? As already mentioned, the generation of the blockchain units and transaction within the blockchain are rewarded by the cryptocurrency coins. This process of making new blocks within the blockchain is mining. And in order to create those blocks, you need, as I said, to apply your computing power, and you may think of use some complicated system of combined computing units, and initially it may work, but these days it's actually quite hard, and you would have to deal with some huge factory, so to speak, facility combining many digital or computers or machines. What are altcoins? Oh, sorry. Let's talk first about the Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency, and it has largest market cap, a longest history apparently, and it is most well known. So everybody know about Bitcoin, right? These days, it is used for peer-to-peer payments, and basically those are the most important things we should know about Bitcoin. What are altcoins? Basically, it's all the coins except Bitcoin. You don't need to be confused. It's alternative coins, alternative to Bitcoin, right? Ether, as I already mentioned, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and everything like that. All the rest. So, why it is so hot? Why it is such a hot topic these days? First reason is that it can provide you enormous gains. If you invest in cryptocurrencies, you can get really nice profits. Second, enormous gains again, because those gains really outrageous. You can get 1000x of your initial investment in a year easily if you're investing properly. Then, well, it is a disruptive technology, so to speak, because if you think about that, you may solve a lot of problems, and if you would implement it like worldwide, massively, then a lot of things will be gone in history, and a lot of systems will be on the blockchain. It will be a sort of new era, and this is another thing. Maybe our life and society and economy will change dramatically. It's sort of, I would call, new paradigm shift. So this is another reason why it is so interesting. And finally, I would say it is a sort of rebellion spirit, because a lot of people think of that as currently a lot of like organizations like banking system, financial systems, they have a lot of power, and when you somehow avoid using those systems by implementing Bitcoin and blockchain technology, you sort of play a rebellion card, and this somehow attracts some of the people. So interesting question, is it really a bubble? Everybody says once in a while, oh, Bitcoin is a bubble, Bitcoin is about to burst and everything like that. So what is actually a bubble? Let me show you this chart. So here is the chart about the well, sort of a scheme of a financial bubble. When you have an asset initially having certain price, not so high, and then investors start to put their money, so price increases, and then eventually mass media start to pay attention, and everybody found out about it, start know about it. So a lot of people invest, and price increases sort of in a parabolic way, finally reached its peak, and then initial investors who actually invested a lot start to sell, and they sell in the way that other people start to think, oh well, actually it seemed like it decreases. Maybe we shall sell now because we may lose even more than we had. So they start to sell too, and the rest of the people who are worried to lose everything also start to sell. So it's a panic sell, and the price drops even below the point it was initially, maybe, right? And finally, it may return actually to the mean value or some certain value. It might not necessarily go to zero if the project or this asset has a certain value, the intrinsic value, right? So this is the classic sort of bubble scheme. Then it's always, well, often compared with tulip bubble, which was in Netherlands in 1634, well, to 1637, when the price of the tulips increased dramatically, and then a lot of people invested and thought, oh, we will not work, we'll just buy tulips, and then by now, and then they will be so expensive, we'll sell it, we'll leave without work. However, the price at a certain point of time dropped, and a lot of people lost their money. So this is, apparently, the price of the tulip became the same as before, and it did not become zero. So this was a sort of a first, well, maybe not the first, but one of the earliest examples of financial bubbles in history. Another example, NASDAQ. Well, you see the increase of the price, sorry, not dot-com bubble, and the NASDAQ index shows that there's increase of the price from, what is that, is 92nd for 6 years, like 10 times, and then it dropped by 80%, and which means a lot of people again invested in a certain point of time, and then they lost their money. And they say, well, it's a dot-com bubble. However, if you look at the chart, you will see that just recently it actually recovered, and it reached the level higher than the initial all-time high. So, well, it was a bubble. It was claimed to be a bubble, but did it burst completely? No, it actually returned eventually. So just some garbage project disappeared, and the reasonable project remained. Another chart here, this is the Bitcoin price and capitalization. It's logarithmic chart, so you see the $100,000 and $10,000. So the change of the price is quite significant. And you see many bumps and dips along this chart, along this plot. It means that Bitcoin had a lot of those bubbles in its history already, those few years still. So the bubble popped many times, and again Bitcoin just rose even more after that. People say still it is a Ponzi scheme. It is a Ponzi scheme. Well, in my opinion, this is the only scheme which exists there. This is a scheme of the blockchain war, and nobody forced you to buy Bitcoin. Nobody forced you to buy altcoins or invest or whatever. It's your own decision. If you're not competent enough to make those steps, just don't, right? People lose because of their greed or lack of knowledge. But yeah, how do they lose their money? Again, they buy at the top and they sell at the very deep. Buy because they want to have a lot of gain, because they see that the asset increases in price, and they sell because they fear to lose everything when they see it's crashing. Here is the example of all the Bitcoin drops during its history. Well, maybe not all of them, but the major ones. You see 49%, 57%, 87%, 70% these days. So it happened many times. And again, how people lose their money. They buy at the very top because of the greed, and they sell at the very bottom because of the fear to lose everything. And they may even repeat it several times after that. Some of the people do that. Of course, there are some scam in the area, because it's new market. Of course, a lot of scam around. One of the examples is BitConnect. This is the project which promised investors to have huge gains, like certain number of percentage a day or something like that, and if they will invite some people then they will have even more bonuses and everything. Two things here. First, if you look at the math and put it in a strict logic, then you will understand that this couldn't work, because people all the people cannot get money. Some people need to lose money to pay for that. So and eventually you see the chart, the price dropped to basically to the zero level. The second thing is, and yeah, a lot of people lost their money. Second thing is that the initial coin price was actually like, I think I see it was $0.15, so 15 cents, and at all-time high, it was $440. Although it was a scam, those people who bought at the beginning and they sold at close to the all-time high, they gain 300,000% of profit. So it's like if you will invest $1,000, you will get $3 million eventually for all those 8-9 months. So this is the second point I shall consider. People say it cannot last forever. Well, it probably cannot last forever, as nothing cannot last forever. Anything else can last forever. So, but here's another example. The money for different assets in the world, it's actually 70th year, so it's a bit different now. But still, the area of all those circles represent the capitalization of the certain asset, or let's say all the money in the world, the biggest bubble here, right? And the Bitcoin is here. Actually, it should be somewhere around here, $150 million around, $100 billion around. But still, you see, if it is even here, we have a lot of room to grow along the increase of the capitalization, right? Well, concluding that, is it a bubble? Well, yes, it is a bubble in a certain sense, because actually everything is a bubble at some point. But I don't think that is possible that Bitcoin can drop to zero. Its price can drop to zero because actually it has the intrinsic value. It can solve some problem. It can help to improve the certain systems in our world. So it's unlikely that it will disappear. What is important, that you need to be careful in your acting and do not make reckless moves, right? And then you will not lose your money. So be careful and don't lose your head and money. Summarizing, as you see, crypto is not that complicated as it seems, if it is put in the simple words. Crypto is interesting, to my opinion. And I think there's a huge potential in cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies. What I would suggest to you, what I would like to encourage you, is to start to study the issue. Be curious, be educated, be critical. Don't believe no one, don't believe me. Just check by yourself, double check it, check different resources, different reviews and everything, and find the truth by yourself. And when you will believe or you think that you understand the issue and you would like to act, don't hesitate, act, because nothing will happen until you will do that. So that's it for today. Thank you for being with me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you like it and push the notification bell. See you guys.